This list is a chronological progression of record times for the marathon. World records in the marathon are now ratified by the International Association of Athletics Federations, the international governing body for the sport of athletics. The IAAF world record for men is 2:02 and 57 seconds, set by Dennis Kimetto of Kenya on September 28, 2014 at the Berlin Marathon. The IAAF recognizes two world records for women, a mixed-gender record of 2:15 and 25 seconds, set by Paula Radcliffe of the United Kingdom on April 13, 2003 at the London Marathon, and a women-only record of 2:17 and 42 seconds, also set by Radcliffe, on April 17, 2005 in the London Marathon. As noted below, a marathon performance must meet certain criteria to be eligible for ratification as a world record. In recognizing Kenyan Geoffrey Mutai's mark of 2:03 and 2 seconds at the 2011 Boston Marathon as the fastest marathon ever run, the IAAF has noted, due to the elevation drop and point-to-point measurements of the Boston course, performances on that course are not eligible for world record consideration. The IAAF Congress at 2011 World Championships in Athletics passed a motion changing the record eligibility criteria effective January 2012, so that women's world records must be set in all women competitions. The result of the change was that Radcliffe's 2:17 and 42 seconds performance at the 2005 London Marathon would supplant the existing women's mark as the world record. The earlier performance was to be referred to as a world best. The decision was met with strong protest, and in November 2011 an IAAF council member reported that Radcliffe's original mark would be allowed to stand, with the eventual decision that both marks would be recognized as world records, the faster one as a mixed-gender mark, the other as a women-only mark. Criteria for record eligibility: in order for a performance to be ratified as a world record by the IAAF, the marathon course on which the performance occurred must be 42.195 km and measured in a defined manner using the calibrated bicycle method and meet other criteria that rule out artificially fast times produced on courses aided by downhill slope or tailwind. The criteria include, the start and finish points of a course, measured along a theoretical straight line between them, shall not be further apart than 50% of the race distance. The decrease in elevation between the start and finish shall not exceed an average of 1 in 1,000, that is 1 m/km. Road racing events like the marathon were specifically accepted from IAAF Rule 260/18, d, that rejected from consideration those track and field performances set in mixed competition. The Association of Road Racing Statisticians, an independent organization that compiles data from road running events, also maintains an alternate marathon world best progression but with standards they consider to be more stringent. Performances claiming world best or world record status on point-to-point courses such as the Boston Marathon have historically been rejected by USA Track and Field. Performances on these courses could be aided by slope and/or tailwinds. History: marathon races were first held in 1896. But the distance was not standardized by the International Amateur Athletic Federation until 1921. The actual distance for pre-1921 races frequently varied slightly from the present figure of 42.195 km. In qualifying races for the 1896 Summer Olympics, Greek runners Kyrillos Vasilakos and Ioannis Lavrentis won the first two modern marathons. On April 10, 1896, Spiridon Louis of Greece won the first Olympic marathon in Athens, Greece in a time of 2:58 and 50 seconds. However, the distance for the event was reported to be only 40,000 meters. 3 months later, British runner Len Hurst won the inaugural Paris-to-Conflans marathon in a time of 2:31 and 30 seconds. In 1900, Hurst would better his time on the same course with a 2:26 and 28 seconds performance. Later, Shizuoka Nakai of Japan was reported to have set a world record of 2:32 and 45 seconds in a November 1911 domestic qualification race for the 1912 Summer Olympics, but this performance was also run over a distance of approximately 40 kilometers. The first marathon over the now official distance was won by American Johnny Hayes at the 1908 Summer Olympics. It is possible that Stamata Ravithi, who ran the 1896 Olympic course a day after Louis, is the first woman to run the modern marathon. The IAAF credits Violet Pierce's 1926 performance as the first woman to race what is now the standard marathon distance. However, other sources report that the 1918 performance of Marie-Louise Ledru in the Tour de Paris set the initial mark for women. Other unofficial performances have also been reported to be world bests or world records over time. Although her performance is not recognized by the IAAF, Adrienne Beams from Australia is frequently credited as the first woman to break the 3-hour barrier in the marathon. In the 1953 Boston Marathon, the top 3 male finishers were thought to have broken the standing world record, but Kizo Yamada's mark of 2:18 and 51 seconds is now considered to have been set on a short course. The Boston Athletic Association does not report Yamada's performance as a world best. On October 25, 1981, American Alberto Salazar and New Zealander Alison Rowe set apparent world bests at the New York City Marathon. However, these marks were invalidated when the course was later found to have been nearly 150 meters short. Although the IAAF's progression notes 3 performances set on the same course in 1978, 1979, and 1980 by Norwegian Great Weights, the Association of Road Racing Statisticians considers the New York City course suspect for those performances too. On April 18, 2011, Geoffrey Mutai of Kenya ran the second fastest marathon ever in a time of 2:03 and 2 seconds, albeit on the Boston course, which does not meet the criteria for record attempts. Countryman Moses Mosop ran the third fastest time ever on the same course and day as Mutai. 8 world records have been set at the Polytechnic Marathon. World records have been broken at all 5 world marathon majors on numerous occasions. 7 times at the Berlin Marathon, 3 times at the Boston Marathon, and 4 times each at the Chicago, London, and New York City marathons. However, the records established in the Boston event have been disputed on grounds of a downhill point-to-point course, while 3 of the 4 New York records have been disputed on grounds of a short course. Men women Gallery of Marathon World Record Holders. Notes: the Association of Road Racing Statisticians has estimated the course distance to be 37 kilometers, according to the Sporting Records section of the Canadian Yearbook for 1905. Len Hurst won the marathon race, 40 kilometers, over roads, Conflans to Paris, FR, in the record time of 2.26273-5, July 8, 1900. Other sources confirm that the direction of the 1900 race was reversed but note Hurst's finishing time as 2:26:47.4 or 2:26 and 48 seconds. Road running historian Andy Milroy, writing for the Association of Road Racing Statisticians, has indicated that 25 miles was the distance of the first Japanese marathon held in 1911. Predating Kanakarai's performance, Milroy also indicated that a professional world record at the 25-mile distance of 2:32 and 42 seconds was set by British runner Len Hurst on August 27, 1903. According to the Association of Road Racing Statisticians, Beam's performance of 2:46 and 30 seconds on August 31, 1971, in Nairobi, Australia is regarded as a time trial. Many references incorrectly refer to this race as the Yonkers Marathon. The Yonkers Marathon, which during the early 1900s was traditionally run during late November, was won over a month earlier by Jim Crowley. According to the progression of world bests listed by the International Association of Athletics Federations, James Clark set a world best of 2:46:52.8 in New York on February 12, 1909, Albert Raines broke Clark's mark with a 2:46:04.6 in New York on May 8, 1909, and Henry Barrett broke Raines' mark with a 2:42:31.0 in London on May 26, 1909. Ian Ridpath, a former director of the Polytechnic Marathon, has indicated on his website that some sources have wrongly listed the date of Barrett performance as May 26, 1909, and has confirmed the true date as May 8, 1909. An article in the Times dated May 10, 1909, provides strong evidence that Ridpath is correct. Given that Barrett's marathon in London most likely concluded before Rain's marathon held on the same date in New York, it is also likely that Barrett rather than Rain's broke the world best set by Clark 3 months earlier. Pearce's mark was set on the Polytechnic Marathon course between Windsor and London. A number of sources, including Catherine Switzer, have reported that the venue for Pearce's mark was the actual Polytechnic Marathon. However, records from the Association of Road Racing Statisticians confirm that the 1926 Polytechnic Marathon was held on May 18. The Association of Road Racing Statisticians notes the date of the race as December 14, 1963. Peter Heidenstrom, a statistician for Athletics New Zealand, has been reported as providing a date of December 1964, however, the Association of Road Racing Statisticians notes the date of Sampson's performance was August 16, 1964. Other sources from August to October 1964 support the August date. The ARRS also notes that Sampson's mark was set during a time trial and does not recognize it in their progression of marathon world bests. References. External links: interactive graph of men's and women's marathon times plus race descriptions, BBC article on the possibility of breaking the 2 hours barrier.